Our cover story tonight is from Iran. And before I tell you the story, here are a few points to note. Iran is rich in oil. It is at loggerheads with Arab nations and Israel. It is under scrutiny for its nuclear program. Western nations had signed a deal, remember, a few years back, but Donald Trump walked out of it. Joe Biden wants to re-enter it, the nuclear deal. But as Washington drags its feet, China has swooped in. China has inked a 25-year agreement with Iran. It's a $400 billion deal and it could be a game changer. China's plan, though, is not limited to Iran. The Chinese foreign minister is touring West Asia, 6 countries in 7 days. He has many stops. What is China planning to do in the region? What does it mean for US efforts to revive the nuclear deal? And what does it mean for investments in Iran? What about India, which has invested millions of dollars in the Chabahar project? We'll discuss all of this and more tonight. Let's start with the agreement that these two countries have signed. It was signed on Saturday. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi was in Tehran. He met with all the key stakeholders, including Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. And this is a sweeping agreement. Beijing and Tehran have not shared the details yet, but reports say it is broadly based on an 18-page draft that had leaked last year. We reported this last year as well. It's a $400 billion strategic deal. Why should India care? Because it has serious ramifications for India, strategic, cultural and business. This is a 25-year strategic accord, an 18-page agreement that weds Iran to China for a quarter of a century. But the details of the deal that have leaked are reportedly part of the final version. Iran is not hiding the fact that it is negotiating this agreement with China. On the 5th of July, Iran's foreign minister Javad Zarif indicated that the deal will happen. And now the deal has happened. China will invest $400 billion in Iran. This will be spread out over the next 25 years. Where is all this money going? Banking, telecommunications, ports, railways, healthcare, information technology. China is going to invest across sectors in Iran. What does China get in return? Oil, and a lot of it. Iran is the world's 4th largest oil producer. It holds 10% of the world's proven oil reserves. Reports say China will receive a quote-unquote regular and heavily discounted supply of Iranian oil. It's a win-win for both sides. Remember, both China and Iran face sanctions from the US. So they've signed this deal and it goes beyond economy. This is a strategic pact. Last year's draft had indicated a military relationship between Iran and China. It had called for quote-unquote deepening military cooperation. This included joint training and exercises, joint research and weapons development, also intelligence sharing. So going by the words of the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, this is a complete roadmap. It details how Iran's relationship with China could evolve in the next 25 years. The agreement itself is worth $400 billion, as I told you. It brings Iran into China's Belt and Road Initiative. China is in it for the long haul. Consider what the Chinese foreign minister said, and I'm quoting here, "Our relations with Iran will not be affected by the current situation. They will be permanent and strategic." Iran's foreign minister, Mohammad Javad Zarif, called China, and I'm quoting again, a friend for the hard times. Both sides are already working together on various fronts. One of them is oil, of course. China imports more than 300,000 barrels of Iranian oil every day. With this agreement, China will import more. The second area is technology. Earlier, Swedish company Ericsson was building Iran's 5G network. It had to exit because of sanctions. Guess who entered? Chinese tech giant Huawei. It has replaced Western companies in Iran. It is apparently shipping American-made computer equipment to Iran. It is said to be running a local franchisee, and it is developing Iran's 5G network. The cooperation is set to expand. How does the US see this? President Joe Biden was asked this question. Listen to what he said.
How concerning is the emerging partnership between China and Iran?
I've been concerned about that for a year.
Biden says he's concerned about Iran getting close to China. The question is, what does he plan to do about it? China is making inroads into West Asia. Before landing in Tehran, the Chinese foreign minister had already visited Saudi Arabia and Turkey. After Iran, he visited the UAE and Oman, and the next stop is Bahrain. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.